This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. We may be a comic duo, but we take mental health very serious. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and is completely online. BetterHelp is a network with over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, answer a few questions, and BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network.
You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/amp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/amp.
Good morning, it's Meredith. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. I have water with liquid IV today. Happy New Year's Day. This is not a resolution episode, so don't worry about that. We will not be talking resolutions. I am going to start with saying I wanted to finish writing my book. It's titled the same as this podcast. It's Anxiety Makes Me Poop, and it's short stories with lessons learned on each short story. It's a nonfiction. And I did have a resolution to finish it by the end of 2023, and I did. But that's not why we're here. I'm going to actually tell you about the mistakes that I made just over this weekend that I was like, oh, I hope people can relate. So here we go. Listen. So I wrote this book in 2023, and it is just some fun short stories of things that have happened to me and things that have bothered me throughout my many, many years and how I learned to get over them and just lessons learned. So it's super great. It's coming out in a few weeks. You're going to find it on Amazon. This is not a promotional episode either. I'm going to tell you what happened. So I had 12 different versions of this book because every time I would write the book, I finished all the stories. I finished what I wanted to say, but then I would reread it as you should as an author. And I just kept, maybe I added a couple more stories on Friday actually. And so I kept rereading those, making sure they were flowed the way I wanted to. Obviously every single author is unique and we have our own style. So I wanted to make sure it kept to what I wanted to say. Other people may not agree, but it's okay. And on Friday night, I thought to myself, well, you're done. You've read it. Other people have read it and gave me some feedback. I changed some things. I bolded some things. I centered some things. I made sure that my page setup was correct. I downloaded it into PDF to make sure it would come over right. I opened up a KDP account, or I logged into my KDP account, and that's for Amazon. That's for publishing an ebook, and you can also do paperback and hardcover with them. And I thought, well, let's just get it out there. You know what? Let's just do it. I can no longer read this over and over again. I use what's called Grammarly. It's pretty cool for those that have not used it. It will read through everything. You can click to make sure that there's no plagiarism, even though everything came from the heart. I just wanted to make sure that anything I suggested or anything that I said after my short stories did not have any plagiarism. It checks all of that. It checks your sentences. It checks obviously your grammar. It checks, misspelled words. It's really neat. I think it's like $144 a year, but for someone that maybe wants to write a blog or write a book or a magazine or whatever, I suggest it. I'm sure there's a million other apps out there and platforms that you can use, but I used it and I really liked it. And I feel like it minimized the errors. Obviously I'm going to have errors. I find errors in books that have been around forever. So I'm going to definitely be one of them because this is my first book out there. So there'll definitely be errors and I'm okay with that. But what I did was, so on Friday I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Like New Year's is coming up. Let's just get it out there on Amazon. Let's have them review it this upcoming week and we'll see what happens and see what they say. So what happens is when you go into KDP, you have to upload your manuscript the way that they want it, doc or whatever it says in there. If you are thinking about it, or if you already have, you know what I'm talking about, just go to KDP and it'll tell you everything. It's through Amazon. And you upload your manuscript and then they'll then you take a look at it. You launch the preview of what it would look like in an ebook, on a Kindle, on a phone, and you have to go through and make sure that it's lined up correctly. Like I actually did have to go back 12 times and re-upload. No, more than that actually, and re-upload it because I would notice that something wasn't lined up or a bullet point wasn't lined up or one of my titles wasn't correct. I was like, oh shoot, So I finally did whatever, the 13th try, and I said, oh, that looks great. Okay, I'm looking through it. I've, read through everything. I'm looking that there's no lines because Grammarly will also show me if there's something that's not lined up there. It works in every platform, which is kind of cool. And I thought, okay, yep, this is it. It was like I could not do any better. It was like my 150%, effort. I was like, well, let's just do it. And I sent it to the universe. I sent it to Amazon and it's in review right now. And then I wake up the next morning. I hardly slept. It was like I worked third shift doing this and I hardly slept. And I woke up and I thought, wait a minute, did I upload the right manuscript? And the answer is no, I didn't. I had moved my titles over to the center and bolded them for each short story. And I at first had blocking. So when you look at a book and they have their paragraphs, they indent everything but the first paragraph. Maybe if you look at a short story book, they'll have the title centered and bolded, and then the story starts from there, and the first paragraph is not indented, but the rest are. So you can look that up as well if you are, again, blogging or want to be an author. So, of course, I go to look at the manuscript that I uploaded that's in review, and it's the wrong one. I have it all blocked, meaning that there are no indents, nothing's bolded, nothing's centered, and I went, oh, my Lord, what happened? And I got very, very, very very disappointed in myself. And I thought, well, now I got to wait through the holiday and wait for Amazon to review it. So then I, again, can upload my manuscript and wait for them to review it again. So super sucks. And I was super down and I thought, okay, how do we go from here? Obviously, I'm new to this and I'm learning, and I took a few classes actually from professional writers to kind of learn, and I can't believe I missed that. But, mistakes happen, right? When we were starting the podcast, the Clopen Effect podcast and this podcast, there were mistakes made, and I was like, okay, let's just continue on here. So I actually just wanted to chat real quick about not giving up on a project, because this morning, going through this, I was just like, oh, I just got so upset. All I wanted to do was go back to bed and sleep, because I really haven't slept all weekend because I was up all night on Friday getting this done and just feeling like I accomplished something, to feeling like I totally screwed up and now I'm just waiting on them to send it back. I just want to encourage perseverance and resilience, because when you're in the middle of doing something, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't have to be writing a book. It doesn't have to be anything. It could just be like posting something on your socials and you go back and look at it and you're like, oh God, why did I write it that way? Or anything, any kind of context that you're doing, or you get off the phone and you're just like, oh, why did I do that? Just don't give up. Don't give up. First, we're going to talk projects, because I just feel like this is hopefully can be helpful. So understanding the why. So clearly define the purpose and goals of your project. Like, why did I even start this? So first, we started the podcast because I suffer from terrible anxiety, and I asked Cass to join me on it, and we had some great stories. We had some great guests already. Looking forward to 2024 and having even more guests to talk through and have people relate to these stories and understand that they're not alone. That's our biggest thing. You are not alone. And it's more of a comedy when we do have a guest, because we want to keep it light. It's a lighter look into life's heavier topics. And so I decided my goal was to have a book this way, because I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of short stories, things that happened to me. I had some people that weren't nice to me. I have other people that have been very supportive. So understanding the why that you start a project, just consider the purpose. Like, why did you start in the first place? What motivates you to get through the tough times? Now, for me, it's just to see my book out there and see it printed. In a soft cover and hardcover. That's going to be in about a month or so. I mean, the ebook's going to be out hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be out in the universe, and then hopefully I'm going to get some help with getting physical books out there as well. But consider the potential impact and benefits of completing the project. Okay, so you started the project. I mean, let's just even talk like a craft, or I mean, it could be really anything. Think about it. Making a phone call to someone. That could be your project for the day, and that's okay. Like, consider the potential impact and benefits of completing it, completing the phone call, completing the craft, completing one closet being cleaned, completing throwing out the trash, completing writing a book or a blog or a post. So get your driving force in there to start the project, to get through the project, to get through the mistakes and the hardships of it, and just remember why you started it. So the next one is learning from setbacks. So embrace those setbacks. Oh, like right now, I'm going through a major setback because it's the holiday and I'm waiting for Amazon to review my book that is incorrect. And I am learning the opportunities of reading more. So I started searching and Googling things like, what do first authors, top mistakes that first authors make, or just stuff like that, like first authors and their editing mistakes, first authors and their grammar mistakes. I'm like searching everything and doing work this morning. It probably sounds crazy because it's New Year's Day, but I have the day off, so I'm working on this, which is kind of fun. So every challenge presents a chance to gather valuable insights, refine your strategies, and improve the overall project, which I'm hoping from this morning and from re-uploading my manuscript as soon as the review is over, it's going to be a better and improved overall project. So, and then I'm going to analyze the past failures, right? Because once you learn something, you're not going to really make that mistake again. Now, I may forget things on a second book that I write, which I already have stories that I'm already starting, but I already started it by saying, oh yeah, that's right. Here's the mistake I made last time. Let's not make that mistake this time. That's human, right? So break down the project into smaller, manageable tasks. Like for me, there were 3 things that I did not upload. It was the old manuscript. And so obviously before I upload the next manuscript, the corrected manuscript, make sure it's the corrected one. And then I'm going to go through that one a few more times today to make sure that everything stayed bolded and centered. The paragraphs are indented. The quotations are correct. Like I will use today, and while I'm waiting for the review from Amazon to get through, I will continue reading it and using it and allowing other people to read it and help me and edit. And I had some feedback from some family and friends that were fabulous, so it was super helpful. And then during this breakdown, I'm going to recognize the progress. Like there are many, many people out there that can say that they wrote a book, and I like to be that percentage. And so I'm recognizing the progress of writing, getting my book out there, getting my stories out there. And then also this past year, I took a lot of classes on how to understand what I went through, my feelings, getting through anxiety, and then how I can coach others to get through it. Stay adaptable and flexible. Just be open. Like when I found out that it was in review and I didn't upload the right manuscript, holy depression set in. I was just like, I'm going to cry and then I'm going to go back to bed and I'm going to sleep all day and I'm not going to care. But instead, I sat my butt in a chair and looked at my computer and said, let's break this down. I had 3 steps, right? I had to look at the format. I wanted to look at the grammar. I wanted to look at the quotes. I wanted to make sure that it was page settings were correct. I just want to make sure the headings were correct. Like I just kind of did it in levels. Like go grab a cup of coffee and do all of your headers. And then it was like, go make some breakfast and then look at all your paragraphs. And then it was like, walk around the house for a minute, talk with my husband for a little bit, and then go back and reread everything and make sure it all lines up. There's different ways that you can do that. And then I just kind of understood the change in the natural part of the project, just saying, okay, this is good. As long, I guess it's good that I noticed that this happened, because if I just went, and just put it out there, like Amazon reviewed it, they said, fine, go publish it. And then I started getting reviews like, oh, this work is blocked, or this didn't sound right, or I would rather not have that. And I think we would all be that way. So I'm appreciating this setback of uploading the wrong manuscript, having to look through my manuscript again and edit it, and then get another new one up there. So just kind of keeping flexible with that, even though I did have my moment of, so keeping with that resilience of improving. And then seeking support. Don't hesitate to seek guidance. We say that on every episode. I say that in the book. Outside perspectives, outside positive perspectives, I always say the word positive, can provide fresh insights and encouragement. Build a support network to share the workload and emotional burden. I'll tell you, there are some author pages out there. I kind of searched on Facebook because I just wanted to hear what other people had to say. And I found one page. I didn't join any of them yet. I was just kind of reading the ones that were public. I found one page and, a person asked a question that was actually very similar because, when you're in socials, you can search. And so I searched, KDP uploads or changing your manuscript as a self-published author after review and stuff like that. So I was asking different questions in there and it would come up and some of the responses were not very nice. I'm like, that's not the page that I need to be in. So positive perspectives from people. And then you can collaborate with others as well. I wanted to get my family's approval on the book. So my husband and my daughter were kind enough to read the entire thing on Thursday night and said, yep, we approve. As a matter of fact, my husband started laughing. He was like, oh, this story's about me. And we all had a good laugh. So big one. And we always mention it is self-care. Recognize the importance of maintaining physical and mental well-being. Obviously, if you cannot recognize the importance of maintaining your mental well-being, please go seek a professional that can help you. Burnout happens. It can hinder your progress. Take breaks, get enough sleep, engage in activities that can recharge your energy, or take a nap. Rest if you have to. Take a break, take a nap. Develop healthy mindsets by focusing on the positive aspects of your project, which was hard for me this weekend. I was just like, WTF, and another thing is visualize the success that it could be. So mine is, I'm manifesting that at least 50 people will buy my ebook. But I'm just going to keep doing that and visualizing success. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm also okay with that too. If it's more than 50, I'll be super excited. So setting realistic expectations. So this is super important because I am not good at writing. And so I have really worked this year on improving everything that my brain could possibly improve on. And I had realistic timelines. I had realistic expectations because I am a beginner. I'm a beginner author. I am far from professional, but I'm okay with that because I feel like I have strengthened so much this year just in what I learned. And like I said, there's going to be mistakes in my book. There's going to be bad reviews or maybe just it was too short or it was, it's only about 100 pages. It's close to 30 short stories with 30 lessons. That's plenty. It's part 1. There's going to be a part 2. I already have that planned. I don't have the timeline on part 2, but I'm keeping my realistic timelines and expectations that it may take another year to put out part 2, or depending on how this first book is accepted, maybe something different has to come around. Maybe I have to change gears. You never know, but I'm going to stay realistic on my expectations. And I'm going to regularly, I can't even say that word. If you listen to the clip and you know that I have words that I just can't say, but I'm going to continue reassessing and adjusting expectations based on progress, based on change, based on circumstances. So the whole point today is don't give up. Don't give up on the project. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on others, especially if you see them trying. Seek support if you have to, but always remember why you started. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.